Hello everybody, my name is Chris. I've been full-time father for last 6 over years, and I've been part-time father. I had a job for last 19 years, and I've been full-time child for last 46 years, which is awesome. You should try it too. And let's talk about parenting and children development today, because this online course is all about parenting and child development. So if you are here to check how to service your bike, if you want to talk about parenting and children and child development, please stay. So let's talk about child development. Just a minute. Yeah, actually I've been thinking about children and parenting and relations between children and parents and adults since I was 3-year-old. I guess maybe earlier, but I don't remember, but for sure since my 3rd year on this planet, and I still am. And most of the time I was amazed and surprised. What are they doing to the children? What's wrong? It's all upside down. So right now, or after 4 to 6 years of thinking and looking for solutions and observing children and parents, I can tell you a few things. And important thing is I haven't learned that like you go to school, you read a book, you learn something and you can tell it to other people because you are expert. This knowledge has always been in me. This is just my life. This is me, what I'm telling you. And 46 years of observing the world and everything just proved this is right. So I'm gonna tell you everything I know. My knowledge and life experience is now available to you. So I can be, really, this course is all about, I can be your child's voice. So if you have a newborn baby, like he or she is 1-year-old, and you are just wondering what she or he is trying to tell me, I can be your child's voice. You can ignore it, but you can listen to it. And I suggest we parents, all parents, listen to our children. This is very important. Of course, you should read books and listen to so-called experts, including me maybe, but the most important thing is to listen to your child, okay? Hey, come on. No. Yep. Okay, so let's talk about parenting. Yeah, but just as I said, everybody has at least few talents. My talent is I just understand children, so quite naturally. So that's it. If you want to listen to someone who just understands children, that's it. Okay, parents often ask me, what is the most important? What should I know? What's the one most important thing? Just tell me, what should I do? What should I do? What to do to be a good parent? What to do to give our best to our children? And there are many important things. So let's talk about important things concerning parenting. There are many of them. Different things are important for different parents and different children, and some of them are. Every child is different. Well, this is obvious, right? But if you look at what we adults do, It's not so obvious. If every child is different, and if we agree on that, why do we do the same things for groups like 10 or 30 children? It's not so obvious, really. So every child is different, and every child should be treated differently. It doesn't mean there are no general rules, but every generalization should be applied directly to one child with this in mind, that every child is different and maybe there should be slight differences. So maybe it's not good for my child just because it's good for another child. Okay, so remember, every child is different. This is very important. If you go to school, if you've got the same program for 15 students, it makes no sense. No sense. Every child is different. In my opinion, my personal opinion, there should be no programs like for 10 children. Nothing like that. Every child is different. Okay, let's go on. Important thing is for you as a parent to be conscious parent. Consciousness is very important. For example, if you just look at your child and you're talking to someone and you say, well, she's just playing with her toys. That's great, but if you're a conscious parent and you are aware of many things concerning development, you know that just playing with toys is really big thing for your child. This is really her whole world, and can be just playing with a toy can be great developmentally for your child, but also can be developmental disaster. So consciousness is important. We'll talk about that later, about toys and playing with toys and what it means. She's just playing with toys, but later on. Now just be aware that just playing means a lot for your child, much more than for you. Okay, let's go on. Another thing, okay, important thing number 2 or 3 or whatever. The world, I mean general, the whole world, the Mother Earth and all human beings and everything is very different from what it was when we were children. Last 50 years is a huge difference. So it makes a huge difference concerning parenting. So if you think something is good because your parents did the same or did it the same way, you can be wrong. You can be right, but you can be wrong. So I think we should stop comparing what we do with our children or what we know about our children now. We should stop comparing that to the world which is already gone. Absolutely, totally gone. Now the world is different. We should at least try new things for our children, right? So remember, no comparison to yesterday. Just a minute. We are now at the totally new, very high level of understanding children. I can say that we people now understand children. This knowledge is available for everybody, and I suggest you just use it. Okay, important thing number 3. Life is development. From first second, which means from the moment of conception, and development means learning. Actually, learning is the only thing your child wants, really. And important thing number 3, parents are first most important teachers of every child. First, best and most important teachers of every child. So if you're a parent, there's nobody is better than you. Not the doctor, not the staff of the hospital. Of course we need them, but they do not really care about your child development, really. And even if they do, they cannot spend 24 hours every day with your child, which is really important. And not the doctors, not the state governmental programs. They do not care about your child development, really. They do not care even about education. So we'll talk about it later. Nothing compares to parents as the teachers. And if life is development and development is learning, and if you can have best ever teacher, yeah, why not to use it? So if you want to give your child best gift in his or her life, just offer you being his or her teacher. This is very important. So, important thing number 4. Your knowledge is important. Of course, your experience as well, but knowledge you can get really fast. Like, if next video or another video should be at the bottom of the page, maybe, I don't know. I will tell you about, in my opinion, most important books and web pages you should immediately read. There are quite many of the books, but most important, and you can get this knowledge actually really fast. With experience it's not so easy. You need time for experience, but you can remember your experience as child. If you're a parent, I will talk about that later. One of my suggestions for parents is recall your childhood. So you have all the experience, you have it. You just have to think of it. You remember. I beg you, remember your childhood. So just use your childhood as a source for your experience. Knowledge is easy to get, so this is no problem. Your knowledge is important, and your decisions and everyday actions based on your knowledge is also important. Okay? So, what do I mean actions and decisions are important? And what do I mean based on your knowledge? Sometimes, or very often, unfortunately, we do things towards our children because someone told us. And my friend told me I should do this and this and this. Yeah, if your consciousness level is high, you always compare what you are told with what your child needs. Okay, so that's why knowledge is important. And I mean knowledge, I also mean skills, like communication skills. You can communicate with your child actually before birth. You can, if you're a mother, even if you're a father, you can communicate with your child, I don't know, 6 months of life. I mean, from the day of conception, half of the pregnancy. Why not? You can listen. You can really. It's a communication. You can. All the mothers know that it's easier. You can feel it. You can hear it. You can just, communication as a skill with your child is important. Okay, so Did I tell you every child is different? Have I told you already that? Yes, every child is different. So, if we talk about what's good for your child, what's not, and about programs, there is only one program that is good, really good for your child, and this program is the program you are going to create. So, if you observe your child, which is one of my rules, observe all the time. Listen to your child, observe your child, and think of everything what you see. So, there is only one program that can be good for your child, and it's the program you can create, okay? Program of development. Okay. Important thing number 6. Do not compare your child to anything or anybody. Right? Every child is different. Comparing normally makes no sense. Really, no sense. I think there are 2 moments in your child's life when you should compare or test. Do not compare and do not test your child. Do not check. One moment to check is at the hospital, the moment of the birth, and you know that scales, 10-point scale. So this is one moment the child should be checked and tested, and the other one, we'll talk about it later for sure. Other one is, okay, there is a book like this. I will talk about books next video. So, and there is one thing good to test your child. Only this one thing, and everything else like, hey, what your baby, blah blah blah, because my baby, blah 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 blah. This makes no sense, really. Don't do it. Don't waste your time testing your child, okay? Important. Okay, important thing number 7. Life is, I told you that already, life is growth and life is development. There is nothing else. There's nothing else like, I don't know. And development means learning. But learning the child way, not learning like we adults do, like you have to go to university, you have to sit on your and look at that book for many hours. No. Children want to learn everything, anything and everything, and right now. And capacity, learning capacity of your child is practically infinite. That's true, really. Yeah, you can be sure of that. Practically possibility of every child, learning capacity of every child is practically infinite. If we talk about languages, normally a child can speak after 3 years of just listening, just observing, just nothing, not big effort, or no, it's not hard work, it's just looking and listening. And normally 3-year-old can speak language of the environment, of his or her parents. How many languages can 3-year-old learn? 2, 3, if the parents are bilingual. Can their child learn 2 languages? Of course. Can he or she learn 20 languages? Of course. He can learn as many languages as you present to the child, really. And the number is, nobody knows. Maybe 50? Yes, of course, why not? Maybe 50,000. It is possible. So, what do I mean by learning? Normally, we think learning is reading a book and getting the information, from the sentences. For a child, learning is everything. So, imagine your child is playing with anything, with some pieces of something, and then she or he is I don't know, 2 months old, and then he or she wants to take this to eat it. You think she or he wants to eat it, yeah? And then you know it's a small part and he or she can swallow it. So you say normally, don't leave it alone, don't take it, don't even touch it, because it's a danger of sorry, but this is a process of learning. Your child wants to hear it like this, to take everything apart, listen, to look at it, and to taste it, not to swallow it, to taste it. So, of course, don't let her or don't let him swallow it, but let him or her taste it. So, and believe me, your reaction can be much faster than just tasting. So, look, be close enough and be aware of what's going on. And if normally child is just tasting like this, observe your child. Just like, of course, if he or she is lying in the back, it's a danger. But one thing you can do is put your child belly down, so it's impossible to swim, not almost impossible. So you can even take it and put it like here, so he or she can taste it, and because you grab it, he or she cannot swallow it, okay, right? So this is a process of, and your child learning, and your child want to learn anything. Mom, Dad, I want to learn all the tastes of this beautiful world. The life is full of tastes. Mom, I want them all. I want, and no tastes. That's great. Now I know it. Hey, there is a little something like, you grab it, she's tasting it, she's learning, her brain is working, and after a few seconds, the baby is just putting it away. She's decided to stop this learning process because it's over, it's finished. No risk of, I don't know, whatever. And huge benefit for your child. She or he just learned taste of this piece of something, right? So the life is growth and development and growth is learning. And learning, please let the children learn their own way. Everything and right now. So everything your child is doing is there to learn. He and she and all of them want to learn. Let them learn everything, anything, and right now. Okay. So, important thing number 8. Children, all the children, whatever you think, really all of them are learning geniuses. Some people say children are linguistic geniuses, but I can tell you, not only linguistic. We'll talk later about talents, about kinds of intelligence, like I will talk about books. It's this idea comes mainly from, or firstly, I guess, from Howard Gardner, different kinds of intelligence. So not only linguistic genius, every child is learning genius. So if we talk about linguistic skills, every child is a genius. If we talk about mathematics, I will give you another video about mathematics only. Every child is a mathematician, is a scientist, really with beautiful mind. So remember what your child is looking at and what he is seeing can be unavailable to you. So don't say, he's just sitting doing nothing. He's probably learning. So observe his eyes, observe his face, and his or she is probably learning. Okay, remember, important thing number 8, children are learning geniuses, okay, and they are learning all the time. Important thing number 9, learning equals brain growth, physically and functionally. It's exactly the same process, which means every information getting into your child, you can say into your child mind and heart and soul, is this information building connections in his or her brain. So it's important to know the way the brain grows. So this is the picture of how the brain grows, and it says the speed of brain development is really fast at the day of conception. It's the fastest at the day of the moment of conception, and then it's slowing down every second, and it's slower and slower and slower. And it's exactly the same with learning ability. So the younger your child, the easier and the faster the learning is. We can say the younger the child, the faster and the more beautiful his or her life is. So if you want your child to learn anything, even we normally think about learning, do you want your child to go to school or to university to get a good degree and have a good job and whatever? You want your baby to learn language? Yeah, do it as soon as possible. If in your family there are few people talking different languages, start learning your child languages at the day of conception, at the day of birth, day number 1. I'm sorry, nothing important, okay. So, just by talking to your child different languages, he or she is learning languages. Start as soon as possible. Brain development is really important because it means it's the same process as learning. Getting information in is building the brain physically, never mind. So it is okay. So it is possible for the brain to develop as fast and high quality development. I mean, at the older age, but it's not that easy for child. Learning is fun, a lot of fun. Really, believe me. And it's easy, it's naturally easy. So if your child is a 50-year-old, it's not so easy and it's not so fun, and it's not, for most people, it's not natural. For some people it still is. But my goal when I talk to parents is to convince them they can, all the fun and all the ease of learning that is naturally in your child at the day he or she is born, you can teach your child to live with this ease of learning for the rest of his or her life. It can be done. It can be done. For a baby, it's natural. And what we adults normally do, we stop this process. We are really great at making genius normal or average. Every child is born a genius, and then we try to use patterns, schemes to just don't learn that, just be normal, be average. Don't do it. Every child can be genius and can still learn anything with that same ease and fun for the rest of his and her life. I will tell you later how to do it. Okay, so important thing number 10 is time. If your child is learning better when he or she is younger, it means time is important. You should do everything fast. And saying time, I mean time like minutes and hours and days, and I mean quality of time, which means you as a parent have to rest. The quality of your time with your baby is important. So start learning optimization, start being a mathematician, calculating everything. If you do too much today and you finish this day tomorrow morning, so you will sleep just 1 hour, it's enough from time to time. But if you do it too often, next day will be less effective, and you will have 1 more hour today and 5 less hours tomorrow. So time is important, especially first few years of your child life. But quality time, quality of your time, quality of your time with your baby is much more important than quantity, right? Many times I can see parents being with the child, but actually just being physically, and their minds are somewhere else, and it means nothing for a baby, for your child. If you just, sometimes if you are in another room, so your baby cannot see you, but your mind is together with her or his mind, it's much better than, you know, just being 1 meter. Sometimes if you are too close, it's even worse for your baby. We'll talk about that another time. Okay, so when I'm saying the sooner the better, everything we do with your child is the sooner the better, concerning learning, development, etc. Of course, there's a sequence of developmental steps. So you cannot learn how to walk your baby if he or she is 2 days old. But the sooner the better, but never too late. So if I'm saying you should start teaching a baby reading or music or anything at the day 1 of his or her life, I'm also saying it's never too late. So if you are listening to this video and your child is 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 6-year-old, it's never too late. Okay? Don't waste time thinking, is it too late or is it not? It's never too late. So start as soon as you can, but if you can now, stop thinking, is it too late? Just start now. Okay? Okay. So important thing number something, speed. Normally, if we want to teach somebody something and we can see that it's not going well, it's he or she, your student, just don't understand. Normally you repeat the information or the sequence of movements, if it's dancing like or whatever, if it's walking, bike riding, horse riding, you normally saying, hey, you don't understand, let's do it again. Or hey, you don't understand, let's do it again, but slower, so let's do it slow motion. Normally speed is important, which means the faster the better. Not always, but most cases. If you learn reading, don't slow down. Speed is important. The faster the better. In our mind can register or can see, I don't know, many hundreds, thousand pictures every second. So if we say, okay, let's do it again slowly, or let's repeat it, it's gonna be boring for your child. It's not bad, it's not easier to understand and remember, it's more difficult to understand and remember, okay? So your child needs information about life. Your child is learning life, and the faster the better, the easier. Actually, learning slowly is really difficult, really hard and no fun. Learning fast for a child is really fun, it's extremely easy, and actually it's the only good way of learning. So your child needs a lot of information fast, a lot, like everything, how to roll over, how to, you know, anything. So don't slow down. Okay, there's one more important thing. The brain is actually the only storage container with capacity bigger and bigger as you put in more and more information. It's maybe paradox, but it works like that. If you just don't learn that, you will have time for this later. No, it doesn't work that way. If you, the less you learn, the lower and the worse learning abilities are. So it's not like 10 languages to learn are 10 times more difficult than one for your child. 10 languages to learn, reading, speaking and everything, writing, is much easier than learn just one language. Okay? Lots of information fast. Okay. So, one more thing about learning. As much information as you can, but don't try to control learning process of your child. Your child learning possibility is infinite, and your possibility to control that learning process is it's like nothing. So would you like to control what Albert Einstein is learning, or if you have a 3-year-old Mozart, would you like to control his music learning process? No, absolutely not. You cannot do it. So it's like, I will talk about that when we talk about mathematics. Most people do not understand mathematics at all, and most, or I would say all the children understand naturally mathematics and physics and everything. And if you want to control what your child is learning concerning mathematics, it's like, I don't know, it's almost, it's silly, it's ridiculous, you cannot do it. So it's not as much information as you can control. Just give your child everything you can. Give it. Just show new situations, show new people, change everything every day, and don't even try to control the process of learning. You have day one of his or her life, you have a genius in your life, in your family. So I don't know how to control the genius. No, I've got a few talents of myself, but newborn and small baby is really a genius at every aspect. So how to control genius? I don't know. Just don't control. Just give as much information, new situations, new everything as you can. Okay. Okay. Or give your child as much new things as you can, not as much as you can control. Okay. Try to give your child as many new things so many that it's absolutely out of your control. Okay, try to do it. This is the best way of learning for your child. Okay, and life is learning. Life is learning. Okay. Sometimes I say, of course, don't even try to control it, but sometimes I say, don't even try to understand it, what your child is doing. Just have fun, play with your child, work on yourself, try to understand yourself. This is rule number, I will tell you. Play with your child, understand and try to work on yourself. Okay. So, okay, now funny thing and important thing number next. Learning is really the only thing every child wants. And we are born with practically infinite potential to learn, and with almost no knowledge, at least no conscious knowledge. When a baby is born, he or she has no conscious knowledge. He or she knows nothing. He's a genius, she's a genius, remember, it's unconscious, and the genius is about possibility. So no conscious knowledge like the one we can use directly, or how to move your body. No knowledge at the day of birth, but practically infinite possibility to learn. Compare that to birds. If you can see just 1 hour old birds, they already know how to build nests. There are hundreds of different kinds of nests, and 1 hour old bird already knows how to build this particular kind of nest without any learning. But on the other hand, all the birds can learn nothing during their whole life. So I think it's much better for us humans that we have no knowledge at the day of birth, no conscious knowledge, but we can learn anything, like 500 languages, really, or I don't know, how to move your body, how to move your body so the audience can understand your feelings just watching, and your thoughts just watching your movements. Okay, anyway. So, important thing number 11. The best way for a child, for your child to learn is learning the child way. Everything and right now. Okay? No subjects, no student books, just learn life. Learn everything that surrounds us. Everything. Okay? And right now. No waiting. Okay. So, well, good example of learning. I've read an article yesterday, I guess, about development, and the author said that you don't have to do anything to teach your child walking, how to walk. Wrong. We constantly, every second, we do a lot of things to teach our children how to walk. Imagine your child from the day one is observing everything around. We walk, we move our bodies, and observing so many people walking and moving their bodies is a huge resource and huge library of infinite knowledge about walking. We do really a lot of things to teach our children how to walk. It's good, it's so easy for us. On the other hand, it's not so easy for us to show mathematics and physics to a newborn. That's why most of the babies and most of the students, I guess most of adults, do not know mathematics at all, really. I think so. We'll talk about it later. Okay. So, do you think it's strange when a 3-year-old is asking you a question using his mother tongue? Is it strange? 3-year-old talking? No, it's not. Do you think it's strange if 3-year-old is walking? If we assume that child, small baby and then toddler walking, and a child is learning because of his mind and brain capacity and because of huge amount of information around, like everybody's walking, everybody is talking, so it's easy to learn. He or she is just learning what he is seeing. Imagine what if every newborn is seeing that same amount of words and people reading, and the same huge amount of people calculating, and numbers and functions and everything concerning mathematics. Believe me, all the 3-year-olds would know mathematics as normally students of really good universities. No, so imagine if we really give our children really a lot of information in every area of life, like moving, like what if every parent is dancing all the day long, every day. We are all dancing, singing, playing instruments. Do you think children would learn that as well? As with the same easily as walking and talking, speaking? Yeah? You understand the idea? Okay. Well, it's not strange to talk to a baby the first minute of his or her life. Why it's not? Why is it strange? Or just show the new human, show how to walk. We all walk. Why don't you say, no, just don't walk around him because he is too young to walk? Why aren't you saying, don't say anything, he cannot speak yet? We'll be saying words around him so he can hear it after he or she is 2-year-old or 3-year-old. Well, understand? That's obvious. We just talk, we just walk, we just show all our children at the first day of life how to walk and how to talk. How about showing how to read? It's easy and can be done, and lots of thousands of mothers and fathers proved 3-year-old can read, can dance, can do gymnastics, I mean Olympic gymnastics, not just stand straight. Okay. So again, every child is different, but every child has the same infinite potential to learn everything and anything. Okay? Yeah, about walking, one more thought. Imagine we are all just crawling. Nobody is walking or running. We are all crawling and crawling only. Do you think our children would walk 3 years from now? Is it so obvious that everyone is walking? That every 1-year-old is walking? It's not so obvious if we adults are not walking. Important thing number 12. There are some rules which I think you should follow being a parent as often as possible, right? There are a lot of them, but most important, in my opinion, are, okay, I call them deep because it's not, if you ask for advice, it's very often like just only touching the surface of of children's world or development. It's like how to say things so your child is listening to you. Well, just you have to be smiling, saying something. Such advice is just only if they do anything, they only touch the surface. Your child is listening to you all the time. He or she can hear you, believe me. But if you say silly things and you repeat them on and on and on, and just she or he is just not reacting, doesn't mean he's not listening to you. I think all the rules we follow must be really deep, not only being at the surface, but touching deeply the core, the real problem or the real solution we want to, and the goal we want to achieve. Okay, so my rules I'd like you to follow are as follows. Deep rule number 1: observe your child always. Observe, communicate. See what your child wants to tell you. Sometimes parents ask me, what should I do when my son or my little girl is just so hysteric? She's shouting or he's crying, waving hands and really getting nervous. He or she wants to tell you something. Just listen and try to understand. Saying so, stand still when you talk to me, it doesn't work really. Okay, so rule number 1 is observe your child always, communicate. He or she can tell you more than you think. Just try to understand the real problem or goal or solution of his or her aim, goal. Okay, deep rule number 2: every child is born a genius. We've been talking about that, and the important thing is he or she is already a genius at the day of conception or birth. You don't have to do anything to make him or her a genius. No, he and she already is a genius. And the thing is for you to respect that genius, to love it. Normally we love a baby because he or she is so I don't know, so little, no force, nothing can be done. So she's so, what you call it, I don't even remember those words. So love your child because of his or her strength, power, genius. Love and respect that genius from the day one of his or her life. Okay, so deep rule number 3: play with your child and work on yourself. Okay, we'll talk about that later. This is very important. If you do nothing instead of just pushing some, I don't know, knowledge or rules into your child, and you yourself, I mean, you do not even use the same rules in your life, it makes no sense for your child. So if the best and probably the only way to teach your baby anything is by example. So if you do something yourself, but you can be sure that your child will repeat the same. Okay, so play with your child and work on yourself. Deep rule number 4: life is development. We have been talking about that. Life is development. Development is learning. All the children want to learn anything and now. Help them to learn anything and now. Supply infinite amounts of information. Intellectual information, emotional information, and physical information. Important thing number 13: responsibility and experts. I mean, all of us parents tend to give away responsibility for our children. It's no good, but most of us do it. I guess it's the most popular attitude towards life and parenting and children. So, if a doctor is telling you something, you assume he is or she is right because of his or her knowledge and academic education and so on and so on. And why is that? I guess generations of experts for years convinced us that you have to be some kind of supernatural and you have to be very specially educated and you have to complete very expensive and very good universities. So after years and years you have the knowledge and experience to deal with children. And who's the best expert on your child? Well, it's you. Best ever experts are moms and dads for every child. So if your intuition is telling you something which is opposite to what your doctor is saying, I would rather believe your intuition, right? So responsibility for your child is always yours, always yours. If in many years you say or you see that your child's life is beautiful and happy, who's responsible for that? Not all the doctors, no, you yourself. And I suggest strongly not to give away the responsibility for your child. Just take it as this. It's quite impossible to give it away. But you know, I've seen a lot of therapists and parents coming to a therapy, and normally it looks like, just a minute. Normally it looks like a parent is coming with his or her child, and parent is waiting outside the room and the therapist is working with the child. And it's ridiculous. The best example how not to do this is we'll be talking about it later, institutes, so-called institutes in Philadelphia and in Rio de Janeiro. They teach parents how to do the therapy and the whole program with the child at home, and the results are beautiful. So if you take the responsibility, the results are beautiful, really. Parents, that nothing compares to parents, nothing. So responsibility and experts, important thing number 13. Okay, and you can be good. Actually, you are a good parent. You can be even better. Don't be afraid. You have all the knowledge. You have your intuition, first of all. So be brave, be positive, and be confident. It's easy, actually. So believe in yourself. You've got everything you need, really. And your child knows that. Okay, your child believes in you. Your child knows you are the most perfect teacher, and everything, the whole life, the whole world for him or her, right? You are the best expert for your child, absolutely. And so that's it for this video. Next one we'll be talking about books, about, I'd like you to get the knowledge I have from the books I read. So, I mean, directly from all the people around the world, which I think are geniuses concerning parenting and children, or childrening. So I will give you all the sources of my knowledge. Well, the one I will not give you is my intuition. So my intuition will always be mine, but the books, I can give you all my books, okay? And next video I will give you all my books. All the books I think are important for parents, and then there will be another videos and we'll be talking about talents. Okay, this is very important, because what we do normally, we kill talents. It's like a child is born and she's a genius, she's a musician, absolute genius, and then we just kill this talent. And then another one, there's a boy being really beautiful football player, and you're saying no, football playing is not good for you, and it's just like shooting. So talents are important, and normally every child has a lot of different talents, a lot, not one or two, 20, 120, and so it's important for us parents to know what to do with those talents, so the child will not lose them. You don't have to make those talents. It's like every baby being a genius. You don't have to make them genius. You don't have those talents to I don't know, to start creating themselves. No, they are already. Just do not limit them. Okay, then we'll be talking about educational systems. This is a huge subject, but not now. We'll be talking about educational systems. We'll be talking definitely about mathematics, which is, in my opinion, huge area of being a genius for every child and almost for every parent not visible at all. Okay, this is one of my favorite topics, mathematics. Okay, then we'll be definitely talking about so-called special needs, children like brain injured or whatever, all those so-called special needs or disabilities, which is a huge topic, and I think by most parents and even medical doctors not misunderstood totally, right? So even if you have so-called disabled children or children with special needs, your child is a genius, really. Special needs should mean, in lots of cases, special meaning much better, right? Much more, and so on and so on. We'll be definitely talking about that. So look at another videos. Look for a subject or topic which is most important for you. If you want to ask a questions, ask questions. I'm answering all the questions directly or indirectly, so or personally or in the videos. And then if you want to subscribe, and if you are interested in Absolute Parenting online course, just let me know. Okay, see you in other videos. Bye.